The first thing I can say about Death Stranding is that it's a journey. With an ensemble cast of characters, the themes and ideas explored throughout this piece of artwork are diverse, deep, and meaningful. In this review, I'll give my own thoughts and impressions of Death Stranding. I have not watched any review or breakdown of the story. This is purely an expression of my own experience playing through and platinuming the game. Because I am a single person, I undoubtedly miss things. However, I will do my best to categorize the thematic expression presented in the narrative of Death Stranding, whilst also briefly touching upon the importance of art and culture in society today. Death Stranding is comprised of several main characters, centering around the protagonist Sam. After the event of a post-apocalyptic magnitude, known as the Death Stranding, which causes the destruction of normalized civilized society, it seems life and death have now become interlinked. The two are now almost one and the same. The dead provide gateways through a limbo-type world, known as the beach, and entities that exist beyond our current reality try to breach and make contact with the living, whom are known as beached things, or BTs. Because BTs are supposedly from an antimatter universe, when they do make contact, the matter and antimatter cancel, resulting in a large explosion known as a void out. Thus, it is your task as Sam Porter to make deliveries between isolated peoples in a desolate post-apocalyptic landscape. Not only must you avoid BTs, you must also avoid rain, known as timefall. This rain rapidly ages anything it touches. You also need to make sure that any deaths that occur are taken care of and the bodies are burnt, as when someone dies their body necrotizes and attracts BTs. Sam, like other characters, is special. He has a specific virus called Dooms, which makes him a repatriate, someone who can be reincarnated if killed. This virus emerged out of the Death Stranding and affects several characters, and is another example of the unnatural state of the world. So not only must Sam deal with these things, he is also tasked by the President, Bridget Porter, on her deathbed, with connecting all remaining centers across America to the chiral network, unifying the country as one. During this task, Sam will be confronted by terrorists seeking to kill and destroy for power and control. This is shown through the character Higgs, a play on the Higgs boson known as the God particle. Particle that once believed to provide evidential proof of supersymmetry. Framework of physical theories describing the universe. Cliff Unger is almost a mirror opposite of Sam, a shadow, a dead soul who keeps returning because the emotional pain and trauma he experienced in life drives him back to the world of the living through Sam's beach. He longs to connect with his child BB, who he believes Sam is carrying. He is perpetually stuck in the beaches of dead soldiers, wandering endless battlefields, experiencing the loss and trauma of losing his wife and child over and over again. The BB, or Bridge Baby unit, is an unborn child that is linked to the world of the dead whilst remaining in the world of the living. This helps Sam detect and avoid beached things. This is an interesting parable, as it is natural that the female carries and sustains an unborn child, so the fact that Sam, a male, is doing so is again reflective of the unnatural state of the world following the Death Stranding. Bridget, the President, is in fact what we call an extinction entity. She was the first human to contact the beach, and what the characters discover is an extinction cycle. By contacting the beach, she then lets in entities from the other side, and creates the Repatriates, characters with the Dooms virus. When she was 20, she first visited the beach, but her soul got stuck there, where her body returned. Thus she was torn between two worlds, this one and the beach. Her soul didn't age, so she gave it the name Amelie. who gives Sam his power to repatriate when he is killed as a newborn. We discover Sam is Cliff Unger's murdered son, who was repatriated by Amelie. It is an extinction entity's job to bring about the mass extinction. However, Bridget and Amelie reject and fight this notion. They try to supplant the idea of preventing the Death Stranding in the minds of the repatriated characters. However, as we can see by the repatriate Higgs, Amelie's subconscious is in constant turmoil, fighting within her own mind, which then outflows outwards through the beaches of others into the real world. In Amelie's beach, she does not experience time like in the normal world. She is stuck in these never-ending cycles, dreaming the nightmares of other characters' realities. This damage to her psyche then spills over and manifests in other characters. We learn this from discovering that Higgs draws his power from Amelie, his ability to control BTs and manipulate matter. Amelie, we discover, is the cause of the Death Stranding, but is also its savior, as she nurtures Sam and gives him life to fight the tide that is washing everything away. Eventually, Amelie's beach becomes too powerful and is going to surge antimatter into this reality, thus obliterating all life. Amelie herself can't stop this. However, with the help of Sam, is able to seal off her beach from all other beaches, and so in effect seal it off from reality.
Sam.
This scene here encapsulates quite well the relationship between Sam and Amelie, and the struggles they go through with coming to terms of the Death Stranding.
Listen, you are Sam Strand.
No, I'm not. Not anymore. My name is Sam Porter Bridges.
It's a funny word, Strand. A strand is part of rope or bond, while stranding means being washed up on the shore. And being stranded is when you can't go home. I'm stranded now, Sam. Here on the shore of the Pacific. Thousands of miles away, but our bond still holds. You're free, but we're still connected. Don't tell me we're not. Come back, Sam. I'll be waiting for you.
Unfortunately, Amelie can never leave her beach. She is stuck there forever, and so Sam feels torn between Amelie and her beach and the real world and life. In this next scene, what we see is the full realization of the relationship between Sam and his father.
You told me your name was Sam Porter. But you're Sam Bridges. My son. My bridge to the future. Without you, I was just like any other Cliff. A dead end. No way forward. Nothing but an obstacle. Looking on at the world people like you fighting people was the only thing I was ever good at.
Fragile as a porter like Sam, however, had a run-in with terrorists and was tricked. She was then intentionally exposed to timefall, thus aging her body rapidly, but her face was spared. This is another example of opposites being blended. You have the beauty of youth on the surface, yet underneath lies the harsh realities of age. This happened because she wanted to stop a nuclear device from detonating. Her father's porter business thus suffered as a result, and a thriving network was destroyed. People were alienated, and progress was wiped out. This is an example of the futility one can face in life, how to push past it and move forward with purpose and constructiveness when faced with such unjustness. Deadman, a Frankenstein's monster character who works for Bridges, is also trying to help Sam achieve this goal. He's made up of dead people and somehow was animated and given life. However, he knows he has no soul and thus no beach. Deadman is a perfect symbol for the intermingling of life and death, the confusion between the two. It makes the gamer wonder, do the BTs believe we are the dead ones, invading their world of the living? It further exemplifies the misunderstanding between the two, and highlights the xenophobia the characters feel when confronted with the other side. Die Hardman is a character that, like Higgs, wears a mask. This is to cover the skeletons he keeps in his closet, the murders he committed as a soldier and the wrongs he is trying to right as another character trying to fight the Death Stranding. He is heavily linked to Bridget's character and her aims and goals as a central person in the Death Stranding event, which we find out later as the plot reaches a climax. In this next scene, we see Die Hardman confess his crime of murdering Sam's father to Sam, and that he was only doing it for Amelie and for a better and brighter future.
I killed Captain Clifford Unger. I would tell you I did it for America, for love of country, but I didn't. I did it for her, because I loved her with all my heart. She was everything to me. Everything. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses. I just want you to know that not a day's gone by when I haven't thought about it. Time didn't help. Or the mask. Please, let me finish. The captain, saved my life. You know why they call me Die Hardman. Because he wouldn't let me die. He brought my sorry ass back home every time. And I loved him as much as I loved her. And when he stared me down, that ghost, I knew he was here to kill me, to make it right. And why shouldn't he? Why didn't he? He couldn't save his kid, his baby. And that's what brought him back. I guess when he saw I was trying to do my part for America, he remembered who he was. And he forgave me. God! But I don't deserve it, God damn it! There is no atoning for what I've done. Dad! Yo.
But maybe this is the next best thing. Maybe he brought me back from the beach for a reason. One last time. He wanted me to do this. To keep on being Die Hardman.
No. He didn't. Nobody wants a president who acts like they're immortal. How can you value life? And life is pretty fucking fragile right now. And yeah, the old ways die hard. But that's what's gonna have to happen if we're gonna come together and build a better America. That gun won't help you here. That's her words, not mine.
Thank you, Sam.
Water plays a big part in Death Stranding. There is a lot of symbolism concerning the sea, where life supposedly originated, and the humans' connections to water. Death Stranding also refers to the movie The Shape of Water in an email Sam receives from an in-game character. The idea that humans are directly connected to mammals is very prevalent in the game. In fact, the connection has been severed and made unnatural as a reminder of the Death Stranding. Carl Jung discussed how water is an archetype, represented as the deepest part of the human psyche. The deep, deep subconscious is likened directly to water and is archetypal of it. In Death Stranding, this water is turned to black tar, spoiled and toxic. It bubbles up from under the earth, destroying life rather than sustaining it. This is another expression of Sam's repressed emotional trauma with the incomplete connection he has with his BB. Malinga and Lochner are identical twins, and we see the idea of the struggles and sacrifices of motherhood portrayed in their character arc. Malinga carried Lochner's child through in vitro fertilization because she is Lochner's identical twin. That raises questions of whether the child is also her own. Genetically the child is, but is there something more? Does the soul also pass on something to our own children, making them indistinctively our own? Unfortunately, their child dies during the Death Stranding and becomes beached in the world of the living. However, Malinga is still connected through her umbilical cord to the beached soul of the unborn. This tragic situation is exemplified when she asks Sam to sever the bond, setting her unborn child free.
Hey, Sam. Thanks for coming back. Got something for you. These are your new cufflinks. They still work as a terminal, but I've added a weapon function. I was able to redesign everything from the ground up after the last connection.
And they're weapons too now.
That's right. Cord cutters. I should explain. BTs are connected to the other side via umbilical cords, right? When those cords bring the matter of our world into contact with the antimatter of theirs, boom. Void out. But, just as Deadman theorized, your blood does have unique properties. It can be used to cut a BT's cord. So, I've added that function. Cut the cord of the BT, and it returns to the world of the dead. No BT, no void out. Win-win.
These things can cut them loose.
If you can get close enough without them noticing, yes.
Cord snipping, super handcuffs.
Right. Let's try them out. Cut the cord connecting us. She's sound asleep. I made sure she got plenty of milk. Just do it. Please, Sam. Set us free. This world was never hers, but all the same, I didn't want her to leave it. Even though she's already lost. Truth is, she's not really my daughter.
The attack and everything, that was all a lie?
No, that part was true. My ovaries can't produce eggs, and Lochna has trouble with her uterus. Long story short, neither of us can have children. I was alright with it. I mean, children, who needs them, I thought. But my sister thought differently. Lochna wanted a child, someone to carry her genes. She fell in love with another member of Bridges, but he died in an accident. She was devastated, of course, as was I. Back then, actions like that, I could feel hers, and she could feel mine. When I sensed her desire to join him, to end it, I went to her and said, let's have a baby. We took one of Lochna's eggs and fertilized it with his frozen sperm. And I carried it to term. A healthy baby grew inside me. But then there was the attack. And our bond was severed. I wanted to tell her. But I was bound to the child. I couldn't just abandon her. But I was wrong. Lochna needs to know. You have to break some ties to forge others. Can't be tied to everything. If we're going to reconnect the world, I need to reconnect with my sister first. So please, Sam.
Here we see a pivotal moment in the story.
Do it.
Sam is asked to sever the bond between Lochna Emmerlinger's unborn beached daughter and the real world. It is a decision that changes the course of events to unfold in Lochna and Emmerlinger meeting and becoming repatriated together.
Alright, Sam. Take me home to Lochna. Sam. Would you sit me up? I haven't been outside in a long time. It's just too much to take in all at once.
You sure? Thought you might be claustrophobic after your time in the rubble.
I'll be fine, so long as I can see out of the bag. The warmth of the light, the touch of the wind, the scent of the world. Lucky you. The two of you are still connected. Okay, Sam. Let's go.
Art has often falsely been seen as something that belongs only to the wealthy and elite in society. Whether you think of the ancient Egyptians' great pyramids, the Greek divine sculptures, or the contemporary movements of Impressionism and Conceptualism, art often has been perceived as a luxury, accessible to those only who can afford the time, money, and resources to invest in exploring it. However, I argue the importance of art for everyone, the reflection of oneself anybody can find in art, and the absolute definitiveness as art belonging to the individual, the person who, as a result, ends up experiencing it. In this theory, art does not belong to the artist, but it is instead adopted and finally internalized by those who experience it and live it. What I can say about Death Stranding is that it is a work of art. The themes it explores and the reflections that I found while playing the game and watching the cutscenes are vast, deep, and meaningful. Oftentimes I wondered about the creator of the game and his culture. In Japan there is an aging population, and in part of the game you have to soothe the crying BB. And it made me wonder about the disconnect that technology has had on humans with other humans. And that what has it come to now, that in Japan they have virtual children instead of real children. Maybe it's a strong statement saying that we need to get back as a society to our roots, to what makes us human, to what distinguishes us between a fabrication of reality and reality itself. Death Stranding really is something that needs to be experienced by everyone. Some people say it is not a game that is for everyone. And while that may be the case, I also recommend that people at least watch some of the cutscenes and explore some of the themes that the game presents. In my opinion, it is one of a kind. It is a very unique exploration of the video game medium, and I would recommend it to all gamers who wish to dive deep into these themes and find reflections of themselves lying within. So in the end, the massive surge of antimatter is stopped by Sam and Amelie working together, so mass annihilation was prevented. However, the Death Stranding still remains. Sam's BB, who we began calling Lou, dies, and it is Sam's last delivery to take the body to the incinerator. Here Sam decides not to burn the body but take it out of its container and try to revive Lou. After failing, Sam hugs Lou one last time, and Lou touches Amelie's necklace, bringing her back to life. We learn Lou's full name is Louise, and we see all the other BBs watching Louise living once more, brought back from the antimatter universe. The story then ends with Sam walking out into the rain with his daughter Louise, having reversed the Death Stranding and returned the world to its former natural state.